Heyo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. My name is Derek. For those who don't know, those who are tuning in for the first time, appreciate you joining. Appreciate you tapping in and checking me out. Um, Covering everything wholesale real estate on this channel. It's not really meant for educational purposes, rather just to be here alongside me in my journey. Today, I am going to be sending off a couple hundred texts. It's going to be a real quick video, maybe no longer than I don't think 30, 45 minutes. Just going to finish off this list that I've just recently skip traced. It's an absentee owner, 60 plus years of age, built before 1990, hot zip codes in my county that I'm targeting here. So anyways, gonna send off these texts real quick, hoping that I get like some immediate replies so that I can share that with you guys. But if I don't get anything immediate, I do imagine that I'm gonna get texts throughout the day. I find that to be the case. A lot of people aren't, especially older people, aren't on their phone constantly. A lot of times I'll get texts, in the evening when I text them at this time, in the morning. Um, it's about noon in my market. Again, if this is the first time you're checking out any of my content, I'm virtually wholesaling. So I live in California myself, and I'm sourcing opportunity out in Houston, Texas. So if that is a market that you're currently working, whether you're in there, in person or virtually working that market as well, I'd love to network. Feel free to reach out, see if we can make something happen. I've closed 2 deals myself, both being virtually in Houston. So I do have, a couple buyers that I know for sure are, able to help on the dispo side of things. But if you're interested in that type of content, you're liking what you're seeing in terms of my other videos, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe as well. I'm setting a goal for, I set a goal for myself to hit 50 subscribers before the end of the year. We're definitely on track, on pace to do that. About 10 more before, or 10 within the next month, and we should be able to do that. So anyways, gonna hop right into it. Gonna pull, and if this is the first time that you're checking me out, I do apologize. My computer just doesn't have the type of processing power to be able to run some type of streaming software. So it is just kind of me on the webcam, more of a podcast type feel than anything else, to be honest. Unless you like staring at my ugly grin. But a lot of my subscribers, a lot of people who jump in here and join us live, have shared that they pretty much are listening to it and not necessarily watching it. So I try my best to narrate everything that I'm doing on the computer so that you can at least get a sense of, how I'm navigating throughout my day. So right now I'm on my texting platform and I'm grabbing the couple. I'm finding out how many people have not been texted so far on this list, because I've already texted through a few hundred of them. So grabbing the first 50, going to the second page, grabbing the second 50. None of these have been contacted yet. So first 100, and looks like a little shy of 150. So let's see. I want to select all these and then deselect the ones at the bottom that I've already texted, which leaves 139 people to text. So I'm going to grab those, add them to a campaign. And again, if this is the first time, I'm just going to start speaking as if this is the first time you're listening. But, I apologize to those who join in regularly and join me live and do this type of stuff, because I know it's repetitive. But in my texting software, what I do is it's a drip campaign. So all I have to do is simply grab them like I'm doing now and add them to the campaign. They will get texted immediately once I add them to the campaign. And then they're going to get texted over the course of the next 20 days. And there's some ringless voicemails sprinkled in there as well. And it's all automated. So it's like, get that first text right when I add you to the campaign. And then a ringless voicemail 3 minutes later if you don't text back. If you don't text or call back or whatever within those the next 24 hours or 25 hours, I think I have it, then you're going to get another text and another ringless voicemail. If you don't reply to that, Then you're going to get another text 23 hours later. And then after that, so they're getting texted 3 times in the first 3 days, as well as 2 ringless voicemails in those first 3 days as well. And if there's no reply after those first 3 days, then it starts to taper off a bit. And they get texted maybe 5 days after that, 7 days after that, and 10 days after that, or something like that. But just to give you a little more context, so I'm grabbing these right now and adding them to that general campaign, and I'm going to add them in drip mode. I don't even know why they have these other options: add all at once, add all at a scheduled time. You should always be adding in drip mode if you're going to be texting more than a handful of people, because what this allows you to do is not, so I've grabbed 140, let's just say 140 contacts. I don't want to send a text all at the exact same time, because then the carriers are going to get suspicious of my phone numbers and I'm going to get flagged as spam. So you want to become as human like as possible when you're sending off these texts. And so if your texting software allows you the ability to add it in drip mode, or to just stagger the text so that they're not all going out at the same time, it's going to be beneficial so that you don't burn through your phone numbers, or else you're just going to have to keep getting new phone numbers because they're going to get flagged as spam. And especially with the new like TCPA laws and rules and regulations that they're setting forth, I foresee, I'm not too intimately familiar with the stuff that they're implementing, but I'd imagine that, uh, again, the more human like you can appear, the better it's going to be for you. And then at one point in time, this is what I was getting ready to say, I truly do foresee, there being like strict regulations to where if you are, exceeding these limits, then it may even affect your ability to text in general moving forward, because I do know you're going to have to start registering your LLC and attach that to the phone numbers. So it's going to make it a lot easier for, people to report you, and it's going to point right to you. If you get a bunch of people flagging your number as spam, it's going to point to your LLC. And I would imagine that they're going to implement some type of rules and regulations in the future that may even prevent you from attaching any phone numbers to that LLC again, and preventing you, in effect, from texting at all. There's obviously going to be workarounds, that like there always is. You probably, open up a new LLC and do that, and this, that, and the third, but you don't want to have to do that, especially if there's a way to avoid it. So I'm going to say 139. This is just the description of the action I'm taking. 139 contact import to general campaign. Start on today in 3 minutes. I have to be careful because, again, I'm doing it virtually. So the system is in my markets time. So I have to make sure that I'm doing it 2 hours in advance. So it's 10:20 a.m. for me right now. I'm having the contacts be imported into this campaign at 12:23 p.m., which is essentially 3 minutes from now. I'm going to do 10 as the batch quantity and repeat that after 1 minute. So it's going to send off 10 texts every minute. And then he gives you this little optional time window to start from and end at, just in case you do your math wrong. So, right, there's 140 people that I need to text. It's going to send off 10 a minute. So it's going to be able to do that in 14 minutes. So if it's going to start at 12:23, I'm going to just give this window of time as 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. And then, I like to do this. It's optional. I like to do that just in case I do my math wrong. And, it ends up texting people forever because I just completely botched my math. That way you just give yourself a cutoff time. In case I've done the math wrong, it's still going to end at 1 p.m. regardless, which is more than enough time if my math is correct. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to the campaign. Boom. So now the bulk action has been scheduled. I can come in and look at my bulk actions. The sorting purposes have changed. No, changes. And then see that it's queued up. 139 contact import to general campaign, getting ready to start in 1 minute. So I'm going to, now that I know that that's queued up, come over to my conversations tab and just wait for them to start sending off, and wait till these replies start coming back in. What's going on? Anybody tapped in here? Welcome. Appreciate you joining. Sending off a couple hundred texts, 140 texts right now. Just added them to the campaign, and they're going to start going out in the next probably 30 seconds. Bro, are you having issues with call tools? I haven't tried it today. I haven't hopped on the dialer today. What's going on? What kind of issues you running into? Oh, I got it pulled up, call tools, but I haven't hopped on the dialer. I like to keep my script in my notepad handy, just in case somebody does end up like wanting to hop on the phone. That's obviously the goal, right? Is to push somebody onto the phone once they get texted and they reply with some type of favorable response. It's been my goal to get on the phone with anybody who um, offers up at least one favorable pre-qualifier of the four, being condition, timeline, motivation, price. If I get one of those and it's favorable for me, I'm going to try to get them on the phone. In essence, if they tell me, oh, the place is in horrible condition, I don't think you're going to want to buy it, I'm going to want to get them on the phone. Or, they say, yeah, I do want to sell, but I need to sell within the next 30 days. Even if that's the only thing that they're telling me, I'm going to get on the phone. If they tell me their motivation, yeah, I'd like to sell, but I owe a shit ton in taxes, then that's a motivating factor, and I'm going to want to get them on the phone. Same with price. Even if they just simply give me a price, which is probably the most common that I'm running into, because one of the texts in my automated campaign asks them on day 3, actually it asks them, hey, I know I've been texting you, just out of curiosity, did you have a number in mind that you'd be open to get for it? And a lot of people reply to that text. I'm finding a lot of them give me outrageous numbers, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they give me favorable numbers, and that's all I need. And I'm gonna want to try to get them on the phone, despite not knowing anything about the condition, their motivation, their timeline. If they're gonna give me a reasonable price, again, as long as I have one of those 4 pre-qualifying pillars favorably, um, then I'm gonna try to push them on the phone. So these texts are going out now, sending off 10 at a time, or yeah, 10 at a time every minute. What I'm doing is clicking through them, and a lot of them, not a lot of them, but every so often. The only reason I'm doing this too is because I'm on a limited budget. So every so often, it'll kick back as an error. And if you were really curious, you can like Google the error code that it gives you. But for the most part, it's like, you know, since I'm only uploading mobile numbers, for the most part, the error is they either like can't receive text on the phone or their phone is off and just haven't received the text. So what I do with those, once I identify those, I just simply automatically, before I spend any more money texting them and allowing them to go through this drip campaign, I take it and I push it to a list that I'm housing within my texting platform. And that list is I've labeled push to dialer. So every so often, once this list builds up, 100, 200 people, I'll take all those people and bring them over to my dialer, because texting this number isn't going to be effective because it's kicking back as an error code, but calling that number may be effective. So just trying to hit them at all angles and not um, waste any data, trying to really milk it and squeeze as much juice out of these lists as possible, especially now that I'm introducing texting. Um, make sure that I'm at least texting and calling everybody if it makes sense. I don't want to call somebody if they've already texted me saying they're not interested. But and that's something that I'm kind of manually doing as well. As people are texting me back saying they're not interested, I have my dialer up on a separate tab that I can just simply search their name real quick, mark it not interested, so that I don't end up calling those people, and then just hop back over to the text. My campaign started a fresh. Sorry, Mohammed. Let me refresh this screen real quick. All right, Euphorcina says no. I got a couple stops already. That's my first no right there. I don't sell, not interested in selling. It's cool because they come through. I have the app as well, and it comes through on my phone, so I don't have to be like, I can kind of multitask within the same platform. Sold, maybe. So this gentleman gave me another property address aside from the one I just texted him on. So I'm gonna pull that up in 1 second. Damn, they're coming in right now. Monday morning. I don't own that property. Sorry. Stop. Never contact me again. So as these are coming in, I can start to dispo them as well, as in like tag them and make sure that they're placed into the proper buckets. Like John Jones, who says not interested in selling, I can come by and tag him not interested. What I'm going to do is put him into the not interested pipeline stage. Should mark the conversation as read. Just do all that good stuff. And the reason, and you can also set up triggers so that like when somebody says stop or quit or cancel, unsubscribe, you can put them into the DNC. Or if somebody says, uh, so I have a bunch of triggers. And the reason I mention that now is because I considered putting not interested, the phrase not interested as a trigger, but I found that people will say stuff like not interested right now. So that's not somebody that I just want to put into the not interested bucket. I want to dig a little deeper, maybe try to ask one more question on that. Um, so just a little note. I'm constantly taking note of little phrases that are commonly, said in the replies that I can use as, um, triggers so that it's just the more triggers I have in there and the more automation that's set up in the back end, the less manual labor I have to be doing, and the more bandwidth I have, leaving it me more time and energy and uh, all that to be able to text more people. Essentially, you know what I mean. The more triggers and automation that I have that can handle all the people. I have all the triggers set up for all the swear words. Anybody who cusses at me, it automatically flags it, DNC, marks the conversation as read, so I don't even have to look at it. All that good stuff. And the less I have to be dealing with those type of responses, and the more the system can just handle it on my behalf, the more quality conversations I can be having with people who are actually interested. The more text that I can send off in general, because again, I'm not having to do the manual labor of assigning these properties tags and all that good stuff. I didn't forget about you, Mohammed. I'm just in the thick of it right now. Jose says an error. So I'm gonna come over here, tag him, cold call, which is going to again push him to that specific pipeline stage where I'm housing all of the people who either kicks back as an error code or goes through the full 20-day campaign without replying. In both situations, they're going to get added to this list that I will then push to my dialer. All right, I just had somebody text me a price. I don't know if it's reasonable. I want 175,000 firm as is. If you will pay this, you can come see it this week. If not, your price range, that's okay. So I'll take a look. See if that's somebody worth getting on the phone with. But I mean, shoot, you can see the power of this 140 texts, and I'm already getting. I mean, that's really not that many, to be quite honest. I've been trying to stay on track to send off 500 a week, so about 2,000 a month, which is pretty low compared to some of these other players who are sending off, 20,000 a month. I think that that's pretty average for somebody who's doing, a couple deals every month for through texting. That being the source of lead generation. I don't think 20,000 or 10 to 20,000 is not unheard of by any means. It's pretty average based off what I've gathered from people who are doing this at scale. My campaign started fresh from the beginning. Like I just started the campaign instead of from where I left off. Oh yeah, it'll do that, Mohammed. I will always love dogs. It'll do that. You have to set up your live filters, your live, or I'm sorry, no, your sales funnel within Call Tools. It's called sales funnels. You have to set that up so that it has all of those rules already established in the back end, so that you tell the system, hey, I don't want, if I call somebody, I don't want to call that person again for another, 24 hours. That way, if you go to revisit your campaign, you will not call that person as long as you're revisiting that campaign within 24 hours. However, um, I've found that to be the case as well. If you go back to that same campaign after that 24 hours has passed, it will start from the beginning and you'll call that person first before you call anybody else. So when I start a campaign, I try to make a habit of honestly calling through the whole time. That way, when everybody gets added back in, it's as if you know, it doesn't matter to me if I'm starting from the beginning of the list. But as long as your sales funnel is set up correctly, you're also not only determining how frequently you want to be calling them, but also how many times they're going to get added back into that campaign. So, it may seem a little annoying in the beginning because you're like, wait, I've already called these people. But if you're not going to make a habit of calling through the entire campaign every time you enter the campaign, just know that you're only going to call those people so many times. So they're only going to get added back into the campaign, and you're going to call those people so many times. So like, just to like make the numbers like clear and make this make sense. If there was only 10 people on the list and you called the first two people day one, and after 24 hours they get added back in, and then you revisit the campaign and you call those people again, those first two people, as long as your sales funnel set up to where you're only going to call the same person, 3 4 times, they may get added 3 4 times, but come the fifth time you will start at person three because those first two people won't be there. So it may, again, just to reiterate, it may seem like a little frustrating because you're calling the same people, but as long as the sales funnel set up, you can just call in confidence, knowing that you're not going to be, you know, endlessly calling these same people in the beginning of your list, because at one point they won't be re-added to the campaign. So it's a little bit different vibe. I moved over from Mojo where you can, pick up on the campaign from where you left off, and you can do something similar with the filters that I just kind of mentioned that you can do in Call Tools. It's just a little bit more clear, to be honest. But once you get like the understanding of what's going on in the background and the back end of Call Tools, like I just explained, then it just allows you to kind of call with a little bit more confidence, knowing that you're not wasting your time. There's no time wasted as long as everything that you've set up on the back end is to your liking. Um, but yeah, just know that you set it up in sales funnels. I will always love dogs. And there's some good YouTube videos out there. I've been watching some YouTube videos. Call Tools themselves actually has a YouTube channel where I will go, or that I did turn to when I first started getting it set up, and they break down all this stuff that I'm saying, and they will give you the visuals that I'm unable to give you. So I would definitely recommend checking those videos out. They have ones on every tab that you can click pretty much on the across the top on the dashboard. They pretty much go into every single one of those, and they're I think they're literally releasing it like currently, presently releasing these. So I don't know if there's, again, I take back what I said. I don't know if every single tab has a video, but it seems as if that's their goal. Um, so that's also why I found it useful, is because when I went to YouTube, Cold Tools, and try to get information, I didn't know this, but it's pretty clear that the platform has changed significantly over the years. So, um, the information that they're releasing as of recently is current. So that's also reassuring. All right, I've gotten some good responses here. Yeah, no problem. But yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's the live filters and the sales funnels, and those kind of work hand in hand. So that's like the most complicated part about cold tools, in my opinion, is trying to figure out, because it's different. It's not a very manual, like, I want to call, these people. I want to start, from where I last left off. It's kind of like you set it all up first, all the automation. Like, okay, if I call somebody, I don't want to call them again for, X amount of hours. And then, if they get added back in, I don't want to call them more than this many times. And then you just set all of those parameters up for the campaign, so that you can just go to the campaign and press play every time you want to call through that campaign. But it is kind of like, it's a pretty foreign concept if you haven't operated on a dialer like that before, and I hadn't. So I definitely understand where you're coming from. That was like the most difficult thing for me to wrap my head around, for sure. All right, here's all the responses that I've gotten so far. Let me take note of what Ed actually did. It's been sold, so I'm going to tag that already sold. I do not own that property. Sorry. I'm going to text this person a template, which is just my templated response, just these canned responses to these typical replies that I get, like this. Like, I don't own that property. Oh, and my templated responses. Oh, okay. Would you happen to have it? Oh no, this may not be the appropriate one. I don't own that property, not the owner. My apologies. We buy houses all over city. By chance, would you or anybody happen to have property they'd be interested in selling? Send that off, just kind of as a, I get that I'm texting you on the wrong property, but do you have any property? James says no. Lauren says no. Victor says no. Go through and tag these not interested. 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 Sorry, it's not for sale. Interested. I don't own it. Same thing. Give her this templated response. Find somebody else to play with. Okay. And see. This guy says, "What's your best offer?" And then I have those other two texts that said sold, maybe this house, and then the person that says they want 175,000 firm. This person says, "I renewed the lease October 1st, so it will be a while." Is that all? Yeah, I guess that's. It went through all of them already. Wilbert says, I have. My initial question is, have you given any thought to selling the property? And he says, I have, and thank you, but no. So I'm gonna say something to him. Let's see if I have like a template for this. Um, uh, I'm gonna say not right now is the response. Sorry about this fucking trash garbage truck in the back. And so this template is completely understand. Do you think you would have any interest in the near future? I'd love to stay in touch and reconnect when the time is right for you. Send that to him. And then before I dive into these kind of more favorable responses, I'm going to make sure that I take all of these people who are saying no and this, that, and the third. And I'm going to make sure that I take them off the list in my dialer so I don't end up calling them. But no, I live in New Jersey. Don't know how my info is out in Texas. So I'm just going to go ahead and type the wrong number. So this isn't somebody that I need to worry about removing from my dialer because, again, it's these numbers aren't in my dialer. It's just that these are all mobile numbers associated with this property. So, I don't want to be calling somebody on their landline when they've already texted me from their mobile saying that they're not interested. And especially for the people who are interested, I don't want to call them. And that just happened the other day where I called some guy and he was like, um, I think we've been talking. I think we've already talked before. And I cold called him as if I was talking to him for the first time. And then I looked back into my texting platform and realized that we had texted back and forth and even talked on the phone before. So, and something else that I want to be, I want to be sure that I'm not calling these people, but I don't want to be overly crazy about removing these people from my dialers. So these people who are just texting me back saying stop, I'm not going to go and mark them off of my dialer. I still want to call the other numbers associated with that property because for all I know, they're saying stop because it's the wrong number and I don't even really have the right person that's texting me. So I don't want to assume that these people are the actual property owners and then not call the other numbers. It's just for the people who are saying like Wilbert, who says, I have thought about it, but I'm not interested right now. Thank you. Uh, You know, Here we go. Wilbur texts me back. No, he's moving into it. He's moving into his property. So it's pretty clear that this is Wilbur, and I don't have a problem with going into my dialer and not calling the other numbers associated with this property because it's clear that I am speaking with the owner and that he is not interested in selling. He says no. Moving into it, I'm going to text him back saying, see if I have templates that I can give him. I'm going to say, completely understand. We're actively buying. Well, I'm not going to say completely understand because I just said that. I'm going to say, okay. We're actively buying in cities, so if you happen to know anybody looking to sell, we offer a $500 referral fee. Take care. And tag him as not interested. Come over to my dialer. Look up Wilbert. Make sure I got a couple Wilberts in here. Come in here. Mark him not interested. And unclick the ready in call tools so that he is removed from any of those. If you're watching, I will always love dogs. I'm kind of speaking to you since you had that call tools question. By marking the thing not ready, that's essentially overriding those sales funnels or those live filters. That's all the sales funnel does is when the time elapses, don't call this property again for another 2 hours. So what it's doing is waiting 2 hours, and then after that 2 hours passes, it's toggling that property to the ready position. So by manually going in there and marking them not ready and not interested as well, it will prevent it from ever being added back into that campaign until I go back to that property and manually toggle it back over to ready. One says stop. Mr. Jiang says stop. System's going pretty slow right now. I need to go and like purge my computer and just delete everything that I'm never going to use again. Like all my college assignments, probably taking up so much of like my RAM, if that's how that works. Stop, quit. Mr. Vasquez hit me with both stop and quit back to back, just in case. All right. I don't own that property. Sorry. Whatever it takes for you to understand to stop texting and calling me makes the most sense to me. It's been sold. I'm going to reply with the template saying, oh, okay. Would you happen to have any other property be interested in selling at the moment? Send that. And then for now, just so I don't text this person again, I'm going to remove them from my dialer again. It's clear that is the person I'm looking for. Mark them not interested, toggle the ready off, save that. This person sent me a link that I'm not going to click. It's an Apple News link, but I don't know what that's all about. I'm going to mark this person as DNC. I don't want to have to get a virus. John Jones Not interested in selling. Again, all I'm doing is going from my texting platform right now over to my dialer and making sure that I'm removing these people who are saying that there's no interest. Because all of these people are queued up, ready to call. And I've intentionally not called through this list yet, knowing that I had a couple hundred people text through first. So I wanted to make sure that I texted them before I called them. Not interested. Euphorcina says, I don't sell. Okay. Bring her up. Not interested. And this just is really just allowing me to save time so that I don't have to call these people if I've already gotten the response. Stop. Never contact me again. Okay. See, like, but again, I don't know if that's actually the right person. So I'm not going to remove that address from the dialer. Nor am I going to if these people just are saying no. You know, if they're just simply replying me with no, then I'm going to mark them not interested in my texting, but I'm not going to remove them from my dialer because I don't know if that's the right person. I don't know if they're just wanting to dismiss me easily by texting me no, but maybe they really do have motivation to sell. It's worth it to me to give them a call as well. Um, 200,000 as is. If yes, text me. If no, I'll keep it. No, not for sale. Please don't send message or call. Next time I will take legal action. I had warned you twice before. Interesting. First time I've texted him. Not for sale. Take me off your list. This is somebody who I'm confident in removing from my dialer. Not for sale. Take me off your list. Not interested. Not ready. Save. Jenna, find somebody else to play with. Have you? So my question is, my initial text is, have you given any thought to, parting ways with your property there? And this reply was, have you given any thought to going to fuck yourself? So it picked up on it. The system picked up on it, added it to the DNC list, opted them out of all the marketing campaigns, yada yada yada. So, but again, I don't know if that's actually the person I'm looking for. So, sorry, it's not for sale. That is somebody who I'm comfortable with removing from my dialer campaign. They just need to give me a little bit more context than just no, something that will lead me to believe that this is, in fact, the person, the decision maker on the property. Because it's already been sold, so I don't have a problem. I've already removed him. This guy, please don't send a message. This is, I don't even know if this is the right person, but it's not worth me calling the other numbers. I don't think he's talking about legal action. Not like it's really scaring me off, but it's just not worth it to me. Like, what are the odds of this person texting me so aggressively about the property that I texted him about, and then me calling another number associated with that property and it being a hot lead? I mean, it's obviously possible, but for me right now, I don't think it's worth it. No, not for sale, says Tony. Okay, I'm not interested. What are you laughing at, Jared? That "go fuck yourself" comment? Okay. All right, now I'm gonna get into the meat and potatoes of these texts, the favorable ones. And I know my process isn't nearly as refined as it should be, because I should really be prioritizing these replies that are favorable. Um, oh, you know what? And a lot of text just got sent out as well. A lot of text just got sent out as well. And it's like, the second, third week or something for these people in the campaign. So a lot of people, hundreds of texts just went out pretty much at the same time, because I made the mistake. If you were in here earlier and I was talking about how the system allows you to add it in drip mode, which is pretty much, it gives you the opportunity to become as human-like as possible in sending off these texts automatically, because the last thing you want to do is send off 100 texts all at the same time, because then that's going to flag your numbers with the carriers, the phone carriers. So you can stagger it and say, I want to send off 10 texts a minute, which is what I just did. But I mistakenly did it once without adding it in drip mode, and I sent off like 150 texts, 200 texts all at the same time, which was like, oh man, I didn't want to do that, but I was like, oh, whatever. It happened one time, but I forgot that they're on an automation. So not only do they get texted at the same time for text number one, but then text number two, they're all going to get sent at the same time. So that's what happened. And now they're nearing the end of the campaign, so it's gotten less and less, the number of people that are being texted, because I'm getting no's, I'm getting stops, getting replies. So that number of people who are getting texted all at the same time is getting smaller, but it's still like 100 plus. Oh, excuse me. How much do you normally spend on text? That's a good question. I'm not really. Um, I'm not. I'm just keep reloading the clip before I send some off. The software itself is $50 a month. I've had it for 2 months, so I spent like $100 on that. I probably sent off like $50 worth of text, maybe a little bit more, and ringless voicemails, probably like $75. Nothing crazy, to be honest. It's pretty cheap. But I haven't been keeping track of it. I really don't keep track of like spending KPIs until I have income coming in to be able to determine whether or not it's effective and I'm getting a return on my investment. I'm kind of just making sure that I have money in there, so that I can send it off consistently. Michael says no, 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 in all caps, if you were curious. Got a lot of replies today. Stop, remove. I'm already at like 30 plus replies on. I guess some of these may be coming in from that second round, but I don't think so, to be honest. I think these are all. I sent off like 140 texts, and I'm at 34 replies. Pretty good. Pretty good reply rate, in my opinion, at least. I don't know if that's. Although I know people. I mean, the fact that it's only been 30 minutes since I sent them off, I guess, is what's surprising me. Mario says no. Trying to make a habit too, like every night, to come in here and just clean house. Because it's very easy to get unorganized in here with all these replies coming in, all of these, tags that you're trying to tag these people, making sure that they're, being housed in the right area so that they're either, being followed up with if appropriate or not being contacted again, all that good stuff. So I want to make a habit of like just coming in. It'll only take like 30 minutes, an hour every night, maybe, just to come in here and clean house while I'm maybe sitting down watching TV to end the night. Just keep everything organized. And I've been doing that. I guess I'm just saying it out loud so that I can commit it to memory and to make sure that I do it regularly. All right, I'm gonna get into some of these other ones. So Robert says sold, maybe, and he gives me another address. He only gave me the numbers and the name of the street, so I'm hoping that I can find this. And it pops up in prop stream. It did. Same owner. I can see that he owns the property that I texted him on. Oh no, because that one's already sold. I can see that he has two other properties. MLS details. He bought it. It looks like less than 2 years ago for 55,000, and it was bought as is. The description was would make a great rental or flip. Originally 3 beds, seller modified to make it 2. It can be easily converted back to 3 bedroom, 1 bath, oversized lot. Repairs depending on your exit strategy. You can either upgrade it, same size, or add 1 bed, 1 bath. So this guy bought it at 55,000. I'm gonna see what he's expecting. He says sold, maybe 474.9. I'm gonna say, okay, I'll okay, I'll take a look at that one. What can you tell me about it? Any major or minor repairs needed? I would imagine that he hasn't done anything to this place. If I had to guess, he bought it 55,000, has owned it for a year and a half, and just wants to resell it as is and come up. So I'm gonna tag this person follow up. I'm going to find that property that I initially texted him on in my dialer. Market not interested, so I don't call him on my dialer about that property that I already texted him on, but rather I'm going to set myself a follow-up task within my texting platform so that I can follow up with him here. Follow up. I'm just gonna say any reply about the second, not the property on Maggie. Follow up on like 2 days from now if he hasn't replied to that. And I may just call him at that point as well. I may not follow up via text, although I'm setting myself a follow-up task in my texting platform. I just want to make sure that I'm not letting him slip through the cracks. So follow up. I think that one's handled appropriately. Mr. Barclay says NOPE, all caps separated by periods. Um, Again, not going to remove him from my dialer because I don't know if that's the right person, anyways. So I'm gonna tag him not interested in my texting platform. And I'm getting a lot of replies. Not selling goodbye. This is a good list. This is a good list. This is the first time I actually purchased data. Um, I purchased the list and then I skip traced the list. Whereas anytime before, I've been either driving for dollars or pulling a list off of PropStream and then skip tracing it. So I've always been obtaining my list for free and then just paying for the data, being the phone numbers and emails and stuff. But this is the first time I've actually paid for the list and then paid for the skip tracing on top of it. So maybe that has something to do with it, to be honest. This may be just a more quality list, but I'm getting I feel like a lot of replies. Maybe it's just the early Monday morning. Not selling goodbye. Not interested. 1 million dollars, says Ron. I like tagging these people as high asking price, just because I don't know. This one's not. It's not really applicable, but in some cases they'll give me a high asking price that's like unreasonable, but in like 5 years, if appreciation brings it up to that point, maybe, I like housing them. Depending on how they reply, I like tagging them as specifically as possible so that in the future, if I ever do want to revisit a specific type of person who gave me a specific type of response, I have somewhere where I can look. So, 6 months down the road, if I want to tell myself, or if I do tell myself, I want to call everybody who you know, said that they weren't interested, but it's been 6 months. I can go into my contacts and my texting. I can filter it by everybody who has the tag not interested, and then I can filter it by last activity being 6 months or greater ago. That way, I'm following up with everybody who told me no, but it's been 6 months since they've said that. Same thing with high asking price. I want to revisit everybody who gave me an unreasonable price, but now it's been 6 months, 12 months, and I want to revisit that conversation. Maybe that they're a little bit more reasonable in their asking price. Because again, it's not really applicable for this guy who says $1 million. He's just trying to be funny. But for somebody who gives me an asking price like $50,000 over the Zestimates, or something that's high and unreasonable for a cash offer, but may not be unreasonable in the future, and maybe their expectations have lessened or their situation or circumstances have changed, so it's reasonable to follow up with them. Because if they're going to go to the point of telling me a number that's, again, just slightly over retail or slightly unreasonable, it's clear that if I maybe it's not clear, but for I would guess that a majority of those people, if I were to give them that number, they would sell. So they have in the back of their head some type of interest in selling the property. It's just that they're not only going to do it if they get like an offer they can't refuse, so to speak. So $1 million, I'll tag him high asking price. I'm also going to tag him not interested. I'm not going to remove him from my dialer because I don't even know if this is the right person. This may just be somebody who I'm texting incorrectly that's messing around with me, trying to be funny. Suzanne says sold July 30th for 340,000. Now I'm curious. I want to see if that was a good sale or what. This is just me being curious. I'm pulling her up in PropStream real quick. I want to see what the estimated value is. 306,000. She sold it on market for 340. Damn. Yeah, it looked like a flip. Bought it for 262 in 2017 or something like it, and then sold it for 340. She was looking for even more. That's wild. I'll say, come to my template, go to the already sold. Oh, okay. Would you happen to have any other property you'd be interested in selling at the moment? Text that off. Tag Suzanne, already sold. Grab that property, pull it up in my dialer, and mark that as not ready so I don't call that same property and waste my time. Cheryl says, I want $175,000 firm as is. If you can, what did she say? If you will pay this, you can come see it this week. If not, your price range, that's okay. I'm gonna push it to Zillow. If it's 200,000 or more, wow, 223 is his estimate. So this is reasonable. This is reasonable. I'm gonna say, let's see. I have a template for this too. I tend to type this out, but I have a template where somebody is, asking a reasonable price. I thought I did at least. I don't even have one. I need to type this out as a template. Let me write that down. Let's say template asking for condition. Actually, I have one that just goes straight for the timeline, which I like too. So she says, I want $175,000 firm as is. If you'll pay this, you can come see it this week. If not, your price range, that's okay. That's okay. I say, great. How soon were you looking to sell? We're actually looking to pick up one more property before the holidays. And I'm going to set myself a task. Again, I like to set myself tasks before I even get into the thick of the conversation with the seller, just so that I don't forget to do it in in a couple minutes from now or whatever. I just want to, if somebody's going to respond to me favorably, I just want to set general follow up, you know, conversation furthered any, and just make sure that, again, I'm really just setting this so it doesn't slip through the cracks. Assign it to myself. I'm going to check this one out tomorrow. This is a hot one. It seems like, again, I'm setting myself a follow up task for tomorrow, not to mean that I'm not going to continue this conversation with her today. I'm actually going to try to get her on the phone if she starts talking a little bit, if she starts saying that she wants to sell. The only reason I'm honestly not getting on the phone with her right now, and honestly why I may sound like I'm whispering, is because my girl's in the other room with a client of hers. So I just want to be a little bit respectful of that. And I like to have high energy when I get on the phone and stuff. So I'll just wait until she's done and give her a call either, shortly after she's done or later today. But I'm going to tag her as follow up. This is just what my tags are. I almost tagged her as hot lead, but that will actually bring her to another automated campaign. And I don't want to do that until people start to dodge me. Like if me and this woman went back and forth and the conversation was good, and then at one point she just stopped texting me, didn't answer my phone calls. Then I'm gonna put her into like a hot lead campaign, which will same thing, automated, text her over the course of like a few months as opposed to just like a few weeks, and just like alludes to the fact that we had a conversation. You wanted to sell. You told me that you wanted to sell. Are you still considering? I don't know exactly what's said in every message. Again, I set it up in the beginning of all of this, and it's there, ready to be, sent off when somebody gets added to the campaign. I'm just not intimately familiar with exactly what's said in every message. So tagging her as follow up. That's what I will tag a lot of these people as, follow up. And then from follow up, they're gonna get either pushed to not interested after a while following up, or they're gonna get added to these other campaigns once they stop responding. Well, a lot of text. Agree. Mary says it is for sale now for 379,000. We just remodeled. I'm gonna pull this up on Zillow, see if it's listed on the MLS. It's not Zillow, excuse me. $320 is this estimate. It's not listed. Doesn't look like. Yeah, I don't think she'd be able to get 380 for it anyways, unless the ARVs are going, or sorry, the comps are going crazy in this area. Again, I've mentioned this a few times based on what I typically find with the comparing the Zestimate to the actual ARV. In the Houston metro market, the way that I run the numbers, I've found that the Zestimate can be anywhere from, on the money, actually. Sometimes it's even higher than the ARV. If like, because Zestimate or Zillow is just using like an algorithm, and it's pulling nearby properties to determine the value. But as we know as investors and as wholesalers, that's just because a property is, you know, a quarter mile or less away doesn't necessarily make it a comp. It could be on the other side of the highway. It could be on another side of a body of water. It could be on the other side of a railroad. It could be in a completely different subdivision. So, that's why Zillow's algorithmic, value estimator isn't necessarily, um, spot on. But I found that it's anywhere between, right on the money to ARV, upwards of like 60 to $70,000 less. So in this case, like, maybe ARV is 400,000 and she's just fully remodeled. So it may not be an unreasonable price for her. Is for sale now, 379,000. We just remodeled that. I'm gonna say. Let's say, okay. Uh, we're looking for a property that may need a bit of love so that we can do the renovations ourselves. Would you happen to have any other property that you might consider selling at the moment? Gotten like 30% response rate in the first hour. So again, that's pretty strong for me. I'm going to tag her. Actually, I just want to. I'm gonna want to comp that one just to be 100% positive. Suzanne says, "This number is on the do not call list. I am on vacation." Okay. Ashley says no. John, a while back, said, "I renewed the lease October 1st, so it will be a while." I'm going to say the templated response that I have for interested but not right now, which says, or maybe in the future is the title. No, that's not the one I was looking for. I think it is something like interested, not right now though. Not right now. I'm gonna say completely understand. Do you think you would have any interest in any interest once that lease is up? I'd love to stay in touch and reconnect when the time is right for you. Rudolph says, "What's your best offer?" I'm going to reply with the templated response to "What's your offer?" which is, "What can you tell me about it? How old is the roof? Any major or minor repairs needed?" Again, this is something that I've kind of mentioned in previous videos when I talk about the texting. I'm just I'm wanting to get on the phone with these people who show interest, but I'm also not wanting to waste my time. Where this guy is like, "What's your best offer?" Some people may call him right then and there because he replied asking for the offer. But me personally, that's not an interested. That's not a reply that kind of shows me that he's interested. Anybody can just ask that, but have zero interest. You know, he may just be the type of guy to say, "What's your offer?" And again, be in that type of mindset where I would sell if they pay me something extraordinary, but I'm not in the business of paying people extraordinary prices. I'm in the business of trying to get discounted properties. So it's worth it to me to just send him at least one more text to again try to get one of those pre-qualifiers out of the way, so to determine whether or not it's worth my time. Francis says 200,000 as is. If yes, text me. If no, I'll keep it. The way that she's talking about it makes me seem as if that's an unreasonable price, but let me see what this estimate says. Looks like somebody had texted me another address, which is cool, after I asked if they had any other properties. So I'll check that one out. His estimate on this one's 150, so 200,000 is definitely not going to be in my price range. I don't think, at least. Doubt it. That I would need the ARV upwards of like, shoot, 250 plus at least. And that's if it's like a below average repair. So the estimated value on PropStream is 200. I might comp this one just real quick. I'm gonna take a quick restroom break though. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm back. I'm in the process of preparing my residence and my other rental for sale at the end of January. The other rental is in spring. Would you like to make an offer? Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to comp this property real quick. This person has 8 properties. That was something that I was unable to do, is set the parameters as to how many properties these people own, which is something that I typically like to do. I like to market to people who don't own like a good number of properties, because in all likelihood, the more properties that they own, the more financial resources they have and ability to renovate the property themselves, and the likelihood of them wanting to sell at a discount is probably a little bit lower. Let me comp this property real quick. 1354 square feet. I'm going to leave the square feet parameters that PropStream gave me as is. I'm going to switch property class to residential, property type, single family. This one was built in 53. I'm going to bring it down to 45 and up to 60. That gives me 9 properties that sold within the last year. I'm going to limit it to the subdivision because there's a decent amount of activity. I can see like 3 properties that sold in our exact subdivision, one that sold right across the street on the same street. That one sold for 151 back in August. That one probably went as is. These other ones sold for 225 a couple blocks away. 3 years older, same exact lot size, pretty much same square feet. It's like 40 square feet bigger, but this one has an extra bed and an extra bath. So I would say ours could sell for probably 200. Same thing for this other comp. This one sold for 220 back in April. So I mean, you may be able to account for a little bit of appreciation, but I don't like to do that. 10, 20, 200, probably about 200,000 ARV. And this woman is asking 200,000 as is. If yes, text me. If no, I'll keep it. I'm going to ask about the condition, see if she's willing to offer up some information. And if she is, then that may speak to her motivation a little bit. If she is not willing to offer me up a little bit of information, then she's just not really motivated because, again, the price is retail price. She could get that if it was fully fixed up. Even if it was just cosmetic, my offer would be max. Max, again, this is if it's only cosmetic, 135 I would have to be at. So I doubt that she's going to come off 65,000, and I doubt that it's only a cosmetic rehab. So it's really not a play here, not a lead, but I just want to see, maybe she's just throwing that out there with high hopes, but she really is motivated. I'm going to say, okay, what can you tell me about the place? Are there any major or minor repairs needed? I'm going to set myself a task. Follow up any response to last text. If say if not, add to realtor referral campaign. And I want to tag her as high asking price. That's it. I'll tag her as follow-up now as well, since I have set a follow-up. Save that. this in my dialer, remove her from the campaign. Ramon says the answer is no. Please leave me alone. I'll mark him DNC, and that's something that I want to add as a trigger, the phrase leave me alone. I want that to trigger DNC. So that, again, anytime anybody texts me with the phrase leave me alone in the response, it's going to automatically mark it as DNC, remove them from the campaign, mark the conversation as read, tag them DNC, do all that good stuff so that I don't even have to deal with it. The way that he replied leads me to believe that that is the property owner. So I'm going to remove him from the dialer as well. And that may, this is just the way that I'm doing it. Again, this channel is really not meant to be educational. It's not meant to be like, this is how you should be doing it because this is how I'm doing it. In fact, I probably know that I'm doing things a lot of things wrong, or, not maximizing my marketing dollars, but this is the best way that I see to do it. And, on my limited marketing budget, I do have to kind of cut some corners here and there. So this gentleman, John, said, I renewed the lease in October 1st, so it will be a while. I said, I completely understand. Do you think you would have any interest once that lease is up? I'd love to stay in touch and reconnect when the time is right for you. And he says, I'm in the process of preparing my residence and my other rental for sale at the end of January. The other rental is also in spring, and then he gave me the address. Would you like to make an offer for that one? I'll say, I'm going to say, oh, this is somebody who I actually would probably want to get on the phone with. He's telling me that he wants to sell it within the next 45 days. So, this is a warm enough lead to make me want to get on the phone with him. I'm going to pull this property up in PropStream real quick. And I'm also going to, as that's loading up in PropStream, come back over here, grab this property, pull it up in my dialer. I think I might have even already marked, no, I haven't. So I want to mark him not ready so that I don't call him on this property. Again, this is somebody who we've established a conversation through the text through this number as well. So I have different phone numbers that I'm texting off of compared to the numbers. Why is this guy marked DNC? That was a mistake. It should not be the case. Anyways, yeah. So now I'm going to be following up with him through this platform. So it doesn't even matter if I mark him not interested on my dialer because it's kind of irrelevant on that platform. I want to tag this guy. Follow up. Come in here and again, set myself a task. If anything, just to say follow up, conversation furthered. This is really just a reminder for myself. It's not really even a task. It's just like, hey, this person responded favorably. Don't forget about following up with them. But now that I've done that, I can continue the conversation. I'm in the process of preparing my residence and my other rental for sale at the end of January. The other rental is also in spring. Would you like to make an offer for that one? I was going to. And then what I can also do is just change the address associated with this property because, again, the one that I texted him on, he's not selling. So let me pull this address up and I'm going to change it here so that when I revisit this person in my texting platform, I don't have to go back into the conversation to know which property we're talking about or make the mistake of calling him and referencing the property that he said is not for sale. So I'm gonna hit him with one more text just to see. I mean, I know he's trying to sell quickly. Um, Sounds as if he's prepared to sell it off market as is as well. Just for, the fact that he's allowing me the opportunity to make an offer. I'll say uh, absolutely, um, as long as it's a good fit for both of us. I'm just gonna go for the price. Did you have a number that you'd be hoping to walk away with? See if he replies to that. If not, this is going to be somebody who I just call anyways. Even if he doesn't reply through text, I'm going to call him tomorrow or later today, whatever the case may be. This isn't going to be somebody who I'm going to wait for them to text me back because he wants to sell 2 of his properties within the next 45 days. So what I'm going to do actually now is comp this one just so that I can kind of take note of it, so that when I do go to revisit it, I already have the numbers kind of prepared. So this guy owns 3 properties. The one that I texted him on, the one that he lives in, and the one that he said is going up for sale. He's owned the one that he wants to sell, which is his second rental. He's owned it for 7 years. It's him and his, I would imagine, wife on the deed here. Comp this residential single family. It's 1,515 square feet. Lot size about 6,000. Built in 2003. So I'm gonna tighten up the parameters a little bit. I mean, not too tight, but I'm gonna go 1995 minimum to 2010 maximum, which gives me 4 properties. 2 of them in looks to be the same subdivision, or at least very close, and only one of them actually went for sale. So let me see how I can alter that. I don't think I can. I mean, I can push it 10 years in each direction as opposed to like 7 or 8 like I have it. Go like minimum 93 to maximum 2013. It doesn't make it any better. It's still the same property, so I'm going to push it back another year. Give me a little bit more data. And that gives me a couple more properties that sold in our area here, and I'm going to limit it to that. I'm going to put the subdivision in as a parameter, so I have 5 properties that I'm looking at. The most recent one sold for 198, and that was the highest sale price as well. That was sold a year ago. Same bed, same bath, 85 square feet bigger. Let's just call it. It sold for 198, so let's say ours can sell for 190. Slightly smaller lot, nothing crazy. 1 year older, nothing crazy. So I'd call ours 190 if it sold a year ago, but definitely some room for appreciation in that. I just don't know how much you want to take in appreciation. I don't know how much people have been taking. That's a good question that I'd like to ask somebody who's doing this at scale. Like how much, if you're only working off of a comp like this one that's a year old and that's the only data that you have, I mean, it's a good comp. I just want to be able to factor in some multiple of like appreciation, like 20%, or I wonder how much it's gone up. Well, I guess I can see here. So over the past year, this property alone has gone up in value per PropStream's estimation about 48,000, which is like 25% almost. So maybe we take into consideration like 15% appreciation if we just wanted to be conservative about it. So multiply it by 1.15. It's an ARV of 218 and a half. I'll call it 220. That's just real quick. Estimated value on prop streams 235, but very similar situation to what I was explaining earlier. I think what's happening here is our property sits in this tiny little subdivision that's kind of carved out in the grand scheme of things. So it wouldn't necessarily be appropriate to use any other property that's outside of this little subdivision that we're in right now. So um, just want to see as well. This is the same street. Let's see some other ones. Another one sold for 197 in June 2020. Same bed, same bath. About like the same thing. It looks slightly bigger square feet. So I'd say it's 190. Slightly smaller lot. Same year built. Same exact thing. 190. Yeah, I'd call it like 220 maybe. 220 ARV to the point where I would need it at. Place is 1,500 square feet, let's call it. Need anywhere from like 110 to 145. So hopefully he responds with like something in that ballpark. Francis says, she says 200,000 as is. If yes, text me. If no, I'll keep it. I say, okay, what can you tell me about the place? Are there any major or minor repairs needed? She says, major. I see it's growing out there, so I'll wait till then. Thanks. I see it's growing out there. Not really following what she means by that. I see it's growing out there, so I'll wait till then. I don't really know what that means. Maybe she's referring to like market appreciation, like because again, these are absentee owners. I don't know exactly where she stays, but it sounds like she's saying it's the prices are going up in the area where this house is. So I will just wait until it appreciates to the point where I can get $200,000 as is. Pretty much what I said, what I was anticipating her to say. Like, so she's not really motivated. She's not motivated, but her price again is retail. So as long as the prices keep going up, she may be able to get what she's asking in like 6 months, maybe another year. But I'm going to say, I'm going to give her with the templated response of, I'm just going to say, when would be more appropriate? I'm going to say, okay, that makes sense, although it doesn't. I don't know what she's even talking about. When would be a more appropriate time for me to follow up? 1 month, 6 months, 5 years? I'm going to change that to 2 years. John replied when I said, so he said, he's in the process preparing his house and another rental for sale at the end of January. The other rental is this address. Would you like to make an offer? I said, absolutely, as long as it's a good fit for the both of us. Did you have a number in mind that you'd be hoping? Did you have a number that you'd be hoping to walk away with? He says there's a similar house in that neighborhood that recently listed for 250,000. If someone took mine as is, I'd consider much less than that. One of the best things about that subdivision is its location. It's the smallest subdivision I've ever seen. It's minutes from I-45, Grand Parkway, Exxon Complex, any store one might need. So he didn't really answer my question, and I think he did that intentionally. But he is kind of talking the place up, which leads me to believe that he is a little bit more motivated than he's leading me to believe. Anytime anybody's gonna like start talking their place up and like not even their place, but like the surrounding area, like, oh, this is a great subdivision. It's so close to this highway. It's so close to this shopping center. It's like, yeah, but what about the property? Like, you know what I mean? Let's talk about the property. Why do you think? I mean, it's not going to go for 250, and I'm not going to get into like an argument with him. But the reason why I know it's not going to go even the property is because one, the comps don't justify it. Well, maybe it may go for 250, but it may not be a comp. It may not be a comparable property. It may have extra bedrooms, extra bathrooms, extra square feet on the house and the lot. It may be a newer build. So maybe houses in that area are going for 250, but based on what I'm seeing, nothing has sold over 200,000. In fact, there has been no sales that is within the parameters that I'm setting to use as a comp, um, that has sold in the year of 2021. So I see what he's saying about the subdivision, though. It is kind of cool. It's just like I was saying the other day, kind of like a one way in, one way out type of subdivision. So it's pretty secluded, very tiny. A lot of houses, though, they're just stacked up right next to each other. So he's saying it'll go for 250. He says he'd consider much less than that. So what does that mean? How much is much less? Like I said, I would need to be um, no more than 145, even with a cosmetic repair. So I would have to, I mean, do some serious like look at these comps type deal. I'm gonna give him a call in a minute here though, once my girlfriend's done with the client. I'm pulling it up on Redfin now. I just want to take a look to see if maybe I can find that property that he's talking about, and possibly getting some more market activity, some more data. Okay, I see exactly what he's talking about. Let's see how it compares to his. So this one's listed at 250. It's been on Redfin for a week. It's being sold with a tenant in place. Built in '02, which is pretty. Ours is built '03. Lot size 5,500. Ours is close to 6,000. Um, this one's kind of being sold as is, but again, it's listed. It's not. It's not selling. It hasn't sold. That's the only thing. And then I want to just check beds, bath, same thing. Same number of beds, baths, and 1,600 square feet, so slightly bigger. So this would be a great comparable property to base my numbers off of if it was sold, but it's not sold. It's just listed. So it's kind of you would be speculating to say that this is what his property could sell for. So let me check the for sales in the last 2 years here and see if I can see anything on Redfin that I don't see on PropStream. Three. No, so I don't see anything on here that I don't think I. Okay, well, there's some that are like way bigger in square feet. Let's see. So 235 seems to be the max, and there's two properties that's over 235 in this year. But these ones have an extra bedroom, an extra 300 square feet. So ours could probably sell for 195. Yeah, so I think I'm being even generous in giving him the ARV of 220, because these ones sold for 235. Both of them are 300 extra square feet on the house itself and have an extra bedroom. So I think right out the gate, you got to take like a $40,000 discount at least. Um, but I do want to pull these up in prop stream just to be sure that um, it were, because Redfin won't tell me what it sold for. It'll only tell me what it was listed at. Got someone looking to sell, asking 120K, not motivated, wants 120K minimum. What's ARV looking like? Is that a deal or no? You're thinking. One's like, hey, I'm blowing my nose. Yeah, what are the numbers looking like? Does 120K work? You say he's not motivated, but do the numbers work? Curious. Hmm. So this one sold for, it actually sold for 237. So it was listed at 235, sold for 237. I think I got to take like a $40,000 discount. The fact that it has an extra 300 square feet and an extra bedroom. Um, Year built lot size is okay. But I think you call ours. And this one sold April of this year. So maybe you do consider a little bit of appreciation here. 200, I wouldn't say it's another 10%, maybe like 5%, say like 210. Maybe you do call it 2%, 10%, you know what I mean? But I think calling ARV 210 is a little bit more appropriate. Let's take a look at this other one that sold for 235. I'm going to pull that one up in prop stream, make sure that that one, see what that one actually sold for, because again, these are just list prices. This one was listed at 235 and sold for, drum roll please, sold for 241, 241.5. Let's just call it 241. Again, taking a $40,000 discount, call it 200, as well as slight appreciation in the market. So I think you call it 210. 210 is ARV. Let me take a look at some of these other properties. 42 listed at 230, same thing, at least an extra 300 square feet. Same with this one, 42, 300 square feet extra, 42. It's pretty much all these just have an extra bedroom, which adds a good amount of square feet to the property. And then when it drops down to like the 3.2s, it's, yeah, you're starting to get, 210, 205, but then these ones sold like last year. So like right here, yeah, this is the one I was looking at. I think this is the best comp. Let me just make sure I'm looking at the same one. Spring Ridge. Yeah. So this one sold 198. It was listed at 200 pretty much. Sold for 198. Let's just call it 200 to be honest. And it has close to an extra 100, about 85 extra square feet. So I just called it 190. I think that's the best comp. 190. This one sold for 190 almost exactly a year ago. Pretty much cookie cutter. It was only on the market for 26 days, so it was definitely priced correctly. I'd say you call ours 210 ARV. I still think, yeah. I mean, slightly lower, maybe like 107 to 142, depending on condition. I'm starting to get cold in here. Those look good. ARV is 135. Oh, cash sales on prop stream show 72. Yeah, that's too much. 120 too much. I'm gonna try to get this guy on the phone real quick. I'm gonna say, okay, sounds great. Did you have a moment to hop on the phone real quick so I could learn a bit about the property? And any store one might need. It's like this person's a realtor. I didn't even really read the rest of his text here. He says, "There's a similar house in that neighborhood that recently listed for 250,000. If someone took mine as is, I'd consider much less than that. One of the best things about that subdivision is its location. It's the smallest subdivision I've ever seen. It's minutes from I-45, Grand Parkway, Exxon Complex, and any store one might need." And I said, "Okay, sounds great. Did you have a moment to hop on the phone real quick so I can learn a bit about the property?" I'm going to send that off. So he said, yeah. So I'm going to give him a quick call. Oh, wait. No, this is a different John. He just replied yes to the immediate text. I said, "Have you given any thought to selling? Can we talk about it?" He said, yes. I'm going to give him the templated response to somebody who says yes. And it says, "Great. How soon were you looking to sell and get paid?" Mary initially had told me it's for sale now for 379,000. We just remodeled, and I said, "Okay, we're looking for a property that may need a bit of love. Do you have any other properties you might consider selling?" And she gave me another address. So let me pull that one up. In Zillow, and I'm gonna say, okay, I'll make sure I'm not texting her like the same. I like to like kind of keep the vibes high and like reply with "Okay, great" or "Sounds great." I just want to make sure that I'm not saying that same exact thing back to back. Okay, great. Did you have a number in mind that you'd be hoping to walk away with on this property? Do you have a number in mind for this property? Because she already gave me her number for the other one. She's being pretty direct. I don't need to beat around the bush with this woman. I'm going to mark her, tag her, follow up, and set a follow up task for her. the task saying follow up. Any reply on the property on Blue Line. If not, follow up. I'm ready to sell anytime after. Yeah, see, he's just fucking around. He said, I'm ready to sell anytime after April 15th, 2037, but I'd like to get paid by next week. What's up? Yeah. 1 second. I'll come out there. Give me 1 thing. So I am going to mark him not interested, but I'm not going to remove him from my dialer because I don't even know if this is the right person. Have you given any thought to parting ways with this? Yes, I give it to my daughter. Don't text me again. The answer is no. Please leave me alone. I've already kind of read these off. I'm just going back and kind of cleaning house and making sure everybody's in the right place. We'll be right back. All right. I too also something that I just thought about while I was out there to make sure that I do is not only make sure that I'm taking the people who say that they're not interested. I mentioned this earlier, but not only taking the people who say they're not interested out of my dialer, but also the people who, more importantly, the people who say that they are interested. Because it's one thing to like get on the phone with somebody who's already texted and they say, "Man, I already texted you, man, stop calling me," and they're pissed off. It's like one thing for that, but uh, obviously I want to avoid that as well. But I definitely want to avoid hopping on the phone with somebody who I am speaking with about buying their property, and then I, give them the pitch in the beginning, and then they're like, "Aren't we texting, man? Like, what are you talking about?" Um, so like this John guy, I want to make sure that pull him up. Um, Mark him. All right, this person who said 200,000 major repairs needed. I have a follow. So yeah, like I said, a lot of the follow ups that I want to start implementing this moving forward is just simply like reminding me, hey, you had this conversation with this person the other day, and you haven't set a specific type of task. This is more so just a reminder task. Um, that way, I also give them like a day or two to reply to a text if it's not somebody super hot, and I'm just gonna go ahead and call myself anyways. So for like this woman, again, she's asking 200,000, which is retail, and she's saying that she's just gonna hold on to it until the market goes up. So I'm not gonna bother to try to like set a specific follow up. I'm just going to um, because then I asked her when's a more appropriate time for me to follow up. 6 months, 2 years. Then I want to give her a day or two to reply to that specific question, and if she has still not um, texting me back, replying to that question when it comes time and that reminder follow up task hits my dashboard, I can see, okay, she still hasn't replied to that question. Let me just go ahead and set a 6 month follow up. Ramon says the answer is no. Please leave me alone. Rudolph says, "What's your best offer?" I had already texted him asking for, another pre-qualifier, like, what can you tell me about it or something. But he hasn't replied, so I'm going to do the same thing. Tag him as follow up. Set myself a task in 2 days from now. Any response from seller? If not, set appropriate follow up. Who's in here right now? How you guys feeling? How you guys feeling on this Monday morning? I guess it's damn near afternoon for some people now, but I guess it's afternoon for me too. About 12:30. How y'all feeling though? Getting after it? Sounds like I've always loved dogs is getting after it, which I love to see. I got a lot of good responses today on the amount of text that I sent off. I'm definitely willing to give this list provider another shot just off of these responses alone through text. Because right when you're buying the list, you're buying the motivation, you're buying the situation, the seller's circumstances. And then when you're skip tracing, you're buying the phone numbers. So both have to be good. And I think the combination of the both with this list was pretty good. I usually start calling around 4 Houston time. You ever tried GeoPoint data? Yeah, that's where I pulled this list actually. GeoPoint data, exactly. They were doing a Black Friday flash sale, and I took advantage. It was like 40% off. So pulled the list from there, and then I skip traced using batch skip tracing. If anybody uses batch skip tracing, there should be a link in the description of the video or any of my videos. It's not going to give you any type of a discount. I'm not that cool yet, but it will kick me back some type of a referral fee. So use it if you want. Know that it's going to kick me a little bit of something in return. But yeah, if you just sign up through the link down in the description, I'll get credit for when you do go to skip trace in the future. So I'd appreciate it if you did, but if not, by all means. I tried once, but I'll probably try it again soon. It was a while ago when I wasn't consistent. Yeah. What I wouldn't do is buy their skip tracing service on top of the list, though, because they give you 2 options: buy the list without the phone numbers, buy the list with the phone numbers. And it may seem attractive because it'll only be like an extra 3 cents or something, maybe like an extra 9 cents actually per property, which is cheaper than what you're going to be able to get from batch skip tracing, but it's all relative, right? Pay 9 cents per property for 100 properties, but get a hold of, only a select few of them, or pay 15 cents, 20 cents per property and end up getting a hold of like 5 times as many people. That's something that I tried to do in the beginning as well, but you can't cut corners when it comes to skip tracing. If there's one thing that you cannot and should not cut corners in this business, it's your data, your skip tracing, because there's no point in doing anything if you don't have accurate numbers. If you're not actually getting a hold of the people you're trying to get a hold of, you can spend all the money in the world in texting and cold calling, but uh, you know You're not going to get the type of results that you could get if you were just buying quality data. Okay, I wanted to set a follow-up task for this woman. She said 175,000 firm as is. I don't remember if I ran comps on this one. I think I did. Oh no, what I did was I just pushed it to Zillow, and this is probably the most favorable response I got because this estimate I remember was like 230 or something like that. Zestimate is 223, and she's asking 175, so she's already asking 50,000 off the Zestimate. I've already set myself a follow-up to revisit this tomorrow if she doesn't text back. I just asked what her timeline was looking like. How quickly were you looking to sell? I let her know that we were trying to pick up one more property before the holidays. So gonna give her a day to respond to that. If I don't hear from her, I'll follow up tomorrow. Batch is the best. Agreed. Agreed. Not selling. Goodbye. I'm just going through all the responses from the day, and they've kind of slowed down, and I'm not really getting anything fresh right now. Just going through and making sure that I clean up everything, everybody's where they're supposed to be. I said I was going to do this tonight, but I'm just doing it right now because there's not much to go through. Same with this person. He gave me another address, but I'm going to take his original address out of the dialer, which I already did because that one's already sold. I think this is the gentleman where I actually replaced the address already. Let me double check. No, I didn't. So I need to. Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. don't own that property, sorry. Sorry, it's not for sale. Not for sale. Take me off your list. Stop. No. Stop. Never contact me again. All right. Nearing the end of my cleanup here. Just a couple more properties. Boom. All right, that's everybody, I believe, that I've texted who I want to text, and just kind of waiting on some replies from some favorable people. If I don't get a reply from them, I'm gonna call some of these people tomorrow, some of these people the next day, but I got some good responses here. Just the conversations fizzled out a little bit. Um, a couple people who are asking, well, one woman is asking a reasonable price for sure. Another gentleman has two properties that he's wanting to sell within the next, sounds like 45 to 60 days. And a couple other people who are just, again, favorable responses. It wasn't necessarily like, yeah, buy my house right now, but um, conversation has definitely been started with some of these people. Let me hop over to my dashboard and see um, Jesus, who I can call here in terms of follow-ups. Because I might just knock off a couple follow-ups right now while I'm here before I go take my dog out to play. And then I'm going to come back and try to hit some cold calling before I head out for the evening. This person texts me back saying that I might have called this person, I guess, off of my Google Voice, I would imagine, because I don't see if I call off of the system, the text platform, it'll show me and it'll record the conversation. So he replied to my initial text saying that he would sell for 125,000. He didn't reply to my initial text asking about the condition, so I called him. What seems to be probably about 5-6 days later. My note here says that I caught him while he was at work, but he had mentioned that he rented the place out for 12 years and now it's vacant. Oh, this gentleman I was actually supposed to call on Saturday that I didn't. He said, give me a call Saturday afternoon. And I didn't do that. So this is somebody who I don't want to call right now because I'd imagine he's at work. I'm going to call him on Wednesday because that is when I work in the mornings and I can kind of call him later in the evening. Call him at like 4 p.m. my time, 6 p.m. Houston time. Hopefully he's off work around then. If I don't get a contact with him then I'm going to just set it for the following Saturday. That was, I was running around all weekend. All right, this person I need to bring him down like 20, 30,000, which isn't too much. Asking price for the property was 210. I saw some as is going for like 190 to 195. So I just need him to be at like 180 to 185. Um, I'm tripping. I'm going to listen to this conversation actually, because this note as well said that I said, wanted to schedule an appointment to check it out. It sounds like he wanted me to come walk the property or something like that. Ask for a call on Saturday afternoon so Derek can learn a bit about it before sending somebody out. Let me listen to this real quick. It's less than a minute.
Right. Hey, man. How's it going? This is Derek. We texted back and forth a little bit about the property over on Appleton Street the other day. Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to round back with you. It sounded like you were interested in possibly selling that place. Just wanted to learn a little bit more about it if you had a moment.
Yeah, if you're interested in looking at the property, we can make an appointment for that. Otherwise, right now I don't have much time.
Sure. Okay. When's a more appropriate time for me to call you? I'd love to just have a quick conversation on the call before I send somebody out. Is there a more appropriate time for me to follow up with you?
I'm going to say Saturday afternoon.
Okay. I'll give you a ring then. All right. I appreciate you taking the time.
All right. Thank you.
So this is the guy who I was actually thinking of. This is somebody I was supposed to call on Saturday as well. Sounds like, I mean, he's pretty, it sounds like he may be talking to other people about it. Hi, tuning in while driving to work. What's going on, Roxy? Appreciate you jumping in here. I'm just kind of going through some of my old follow-ups here. To be honest, again, I'm going to push this over to Wednesday. I would just, I'd hate, or I'll push it out to tomorrow. I just don't want to call him on Monday again when he's probably at work. No, I'm going to do Wednesday. I'm sorry, because I'm going to have the ability to call him in the evening. That's one thing that I'm trying to be really good about is it's hard, obviously, because everybody has different schedules and life gets in the way, but I'm really trying to get better about, if somebody tells me, call me at this time, to call them at exactly that time. I've been making a point to stay on top of my follow-ups, but when people start asking for calls over the weekend or, in the afternoons when I'm out of the house and away from my computer, it's a little bit more difficult. So I got two people that I want to follow up with through text here. This guy probably hates me. I'm following up with him more and more actively because he went under contract with another investor. He says, yeah, to my initial text back on the 1st of November, he says, yes, I have considered selling. It's under contract now. I said, oh, okay. Do you have a closing date scheduled yet? And he says, really not any of your business. I said, understood. Well, feel free to send my number and reach out if something comes up or you're unable to close for whatever reason. And then I followed up with him 11 days later asking, hey, were you able to close that one? 10 days after that, hey, just checking in. Was your house on this street closed on? Week after that, hey there, warmly following up. Has the deal for your place on Arundel Street been funded? No reply. 3 days later, because now I'm, again, starting to follow up a little bit more actively because it's nearing that kind of 30, 35, 40-day mark from when he initially told me that it was under contract. So I would imagine that it's nearing the point where they may be scheduled to close. So I want to actually increase my follow-ups here just so that I remain top of mind for him. So that if something does come up, let's say he's sitting at the closing table or the day before closing and, a shady investor or wholesaler tries to pull the bait and switch and renegotiate price at the last minute. And he has an option, as opposed to somebody who has ruled out every other, like, that's why I try to educate people in this position. Like, I'd love to give you a backup offer. I understand. I don't want to convince you to break your contract that you have with the other party, but I at least want to give you a backup offer in case something pops up, But it takes that, I found that it takes that little bit of education because sellers are like pretty closed off to that idea before you say that. So like, I've run into a number of situations where they'll say I've already sold it, and then I'll ask, oh, it's been closed and funded. And I got that from Stephen Morales, and that was something that really resonated with me. It's because people will say, oh yeah, I've already sold it. It's like, so you've already paid for it, or you've already signed a contract. And 9 times out of 10, they just signed the contract, and they don't realize that just because they've signed the contract doesn't guarantee that they're actually going to get paid for that property, and the transaction is going to go through. So then, take that as an opportunity to ask, oh, it's been closed and funded. And they'll say, no, we're set to close in 2 weeks. Oh, I'd love to give you a backup offer if that's something that you're interested in. Again, by no means do I want to try to convince you to break the contract that you already have, but just in case something comes up, they try to pull a little bit of funny business, maybe try to renegotiate the price at the last minute. I know a lot of, not, I can't speak personally about these people. I don't know who you're under contract with, but unfortunately, I do know that that's pretty relevant nowadays. A lot of times people are offering sellers the world, and then they're pulling the bait and switch. And then at the very last minute, when you're at the closing table and they leave you no option but to take a significant reduction in your price, I would just love to be a second option for you. That way, you don't feel the need to sign off on that incredible price reduction just because you don't have any other option and because you've gotten so far in the process. That's what these shady investors, wholesalers are doing. They intentionally wait until the very last second, because then what? The seller is going to say, well, I mean, we've gone through this process. It's been 60 days since we signed the contract. We've already gone through all these inspections. I've signed off on everything at the title company or whatever, offered up my information about the payoff of the loan. So like, is it really worth it? Am I really going to let my ego and my pride get in the way just because I want that extra $10,000, $20,000? That's why I'd love to be an option for them there. So I'm going to text this person again. He's not texting me saying like buzz off, so maybe he's blocked my number, but I think that I would be getting a error code if that was the case. If I texted them and it didn't go through, I think I'd get an error code kickback. So maybe me following up is working out in this case. It has worked out. I mean, not worked out to the point where I've gotten a contract, but a couple occasions I've been very firm on my offer and told them why. I'm firm on my offer at this price because I'm very confident. Anything above that, maybe I can make it work, but I'm not in the business of making you promises that I know I can't deliver on. I would much rather make you a solid offer that I know works for us. That way I don't have to come back, ask for a reduction later, all that nonsense. Hello. Did the transaction for your place on Erindale go through successfully? I'll text him again if he doesn't reply before the end of the week. Text him on Friday. And then I have one more person I wanted to text here. This gentleman, we actually got into almost like an argument through text, but then I was able to kind of diffuse it. It wasn't an argument really, but he's an investor himself. He knows what his property's worth, but I just stood my ground, and I think he knows that his asking price is unrealistic. So when we went back and forth, he was like 335 as is. I said, okay, I'll take a look. What type of work has been done in recent years? New roof, new AC, very good structure, 400,000 potential. So this is where I made the mistake. I think I was the one who started the confrontation. And I said, okay, I got it. I'm taking a look at the area and I see that homes similar to yours are selling anywhere from 320 to 345 fully renovated. If I could buy your house as is and pay cash, what's the best price that you could do? And he replied with a Zillow listing. This is the exact same floor plan as mine with new paint, refurbished cabinets. And then I said, okay, for me as an investor, these are the things that I'm looking at when it comes to comparing your property to this one. It seems that this one has an extra half bathroom, 100 more square feet, extra space in the garage. This one was a 2-car compared to his 1-car. It sits in a cul-de-sac and it has a pool in the back. All of these things greatly affect the value. And I said, lastly, the property hasn't been sold yet. As an investor, I'm forced to make my decisions based on historical data and can't necessarily speculate. For all we know, this property could never sell at the price that it's listed. I'm not trying to beat you up on price at all. These are just the things that I have to look at. I'm looking at properties like this one to compare apples to apples. And I sent him a Zillow listing of a sold property that was like an exact comp to his property. So I'll be honest, I'm very serious about buying a place before the end of the year. If you're willing to work with me on the price, I really do wish that I could pay 335 for it, but in all reality, I would need to be in the ballpark of 245 to 270. He says, I went in and I viewed the address that he sent me. The 3-bathroom is a typo error. It has 2.5 baths. You know as well as I do, pool does not add value, which is not true. The house is pending after 5 days. Again, doesn't matter if it's not sold. I'm also an investor, just have too many projects at the moment and willing to offload this one. I said, I completely understand where you're coming from. Since you're an investor yourself, this is where I kind of brought it back in. I said, I completely understand where you're coming from. Since you're an investor yourself, this is what you want to do with red sellers, aggressive sellers. You want to talk them up and compliment them. Hey, you know better than I do. Or this is what I said. Since you're an investor yourself, I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from. By no means am I trying to insult you with my offer, but I have to stick to the numbers, and that's where I feel most comfortable. He said, understood, no hard feelings at all, thumbs up emoji. I said, like I said, we're able to pay cash and could try to get this closed out for you before the end of the year, and I get where you're coming from. It sounds like you filled your plate. What's the best price you think you could do? He says, let me give it some thought and get back with you. Have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. I said, absolutely, same to you. This was a couple days. This was the 24th. I don't know where that stacked up in terms of Thanksgiving. I think a couple days before. But now I just want to round back with him and see if he's given it any more thought. I also wanted to, as I was reading that, I wanted to make sure that the proper address is listed here because we're texting on a different address than what I initially texted him on. So I want to make sure that's accurate in the system here. And then I'm going to pull that up on PropStream. I'm just curious how many properties this guy owns because he says that he owns, or he has a bunch of projects going on right now. I'm just curious. Doesn't say that he owns any. This is in his personal name. Maybe that's what it is. This is owner occupied, and this seems to be his house based off what PropStream is telling me. So maybe he's lying about being an investor himself. Because the type of stuff that he was saying anyways was kind of like, what do you mean a pool especially in a market like Houston where it gets super hot during the summer? A pool is going to affect the value of the house. If you have a pool, if you have like the same exact specs from this house to this house, but this house has a pool, this one's going to sell for more money. So I don't know what the hell he was talking about or trying to even make that as an argument, but maybe in a market where it's like it snows, you know what I mean? Like in Denver, Colorado, maybe a pool doesn't increase the value because nobody really wants a pool anyways. But Denver may not have even been a good example because maybe it gets hot enough out there during the summer where it's still appealing to the buyer. But anyways, gonna text him. His name is, I don't know if I'm just saying Truck or Truk. It's TRUC. I think he's an Oriental gentleman. Yeah. Last name, no. I just don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Hey, just wanted to round back. Did you and yours have a nice Thanksgiving? Not even gonna ask about the property. As if that's some type of a crazy gem that I just dropped. But I've also been trying to get in the habit of that. If I've built a relationship at least a little bit, I want to approach them with respect. And I feel the best way to do that is to not just simply go right into the conversation about the property. I guess I could, to be honest. There probably wouldn't be any harm in that, but I think by just asking one quick question before getting into that conversation, um, it just kind of sets me apart from the competition. It lets them know that they're not just another number, they're not just another property in a list of thousands of properties that I'm texting, which is the case. So anything that will kind of differentiate me from the competition and let the seller know that, hey, I remember the last time we talked. You wish me a good, happy Thanksgiving. So now when I follow up, I'm going to ask you how your Thanksgiving was. Um, and if he doesn't want to reply to that, he doesn't reply to that. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to follow up with him. So I'm going to move now that I followed up with him. If he doesn't reply to that, you know, I'll follow up with him in 2 days anyways, and I will not ask him how his Thanksgiving was. If he doesn't reply to that one, I'm just going to follow up with him in 2 days saying, hey, have you given any more thought to a number that you'd be willing to sell your place for? So that was everybody that I wanted to follow up with through text. There is one manual action here pending, and a manual action for me is in certain follow-up campaigns that I have. It'll be like they'll get texted on day 1, and they'll get texted on day 7, and then again on day 15. But if they haven't replied to that on day 25, call them manually. It's like a little kind of like a separate task that I set for myself, but it's a task within the campaign. It's referred to as a manual action. So I'm pulling that up. I have one manual action here. This woman, Angel, gave me. She said she's gotten offers for over 100,000. I said honestly the most I'd be able to pay for the place is 100,000, and that's if it's a cosmetic rehab. She said I gave her a range of 75 to 100. She says, honestly, just seeing your age, I don't think this one's for you. I said, completely understand. We're not the best match for everybody. If it ends up needing less repairs than I'm anticipating, I may be able to come up a bit. But please feel free to save my number. Reach out if anything ever changes. We're actively buying in Houston and are always looking for more projects. She says, honestly, I told her 3 offers that I really not wanting to sell, but they came with the offer. I was like, I think I will sell. So there's a lot of competition out there. Good luck. She asked for my name. I gave it to her. She said, okay, if anybody wants to sell, I'll let you know for that amount, yada, yada. And then I followed up with her on the 6th. Called her a few times on the 30th of November. Texted her on the 2nd of December saying, hey, don't want to bug you, but wanted to check in to see if selling was something that you were still interested in. If so, please give me a call. I called her again on this. That's the 2nd. So I'm going to give her a call again right now. Let me see if yeah. ARV's 180. I would need to be like 70 to 100. So this is a smaller place. 1,600 square feet. So I would probably need to be less. Like I may be able to go upwards of like 120 actually. If it's a cosmetic, 60 to like 120 is where I would need to be. So not unreasonable if she's willing to hear me out. 1 second. Use the restroom real quick. 1 minute, buddy. My dog's wanting to go out desperately. I don't blame him. Let me give him Angel a quick call. So that's what it did last time, if I recall correctly. It just like dropped right when it dialed. I'm gonna try one more time. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm gonna give her a call off my Google Voice.
Hello?
Hi, this is Angel.
Yes, who's calling?
Hi, this is Derek. Not sure if you recall, we've been going back and forth a bit about your property over on Canaway Drive.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to round back. You had mentioned, obviously that you were interested in possibly selling. You had a few offers from a couple other investors. I just wanted to round back, see if you ended up accepting any of those offers and moving forward.
One I did, and we've been moving forward as we speak.
You did, you said?
Yeah, I am accepting one now.
Okay. All right. Well, if you don't mind, I'd love to kind of stay in contact. I don't know if you guys have put an agreement together or, you've opened escrow or anything like that, but I'd love to make you an offer anyways to use as possibly a backup if, that's something that you might be interested in.
Sure. You're welcome to. I haven't did anything concrete yet, but they look like the one that I'm gonna be going with. At the moment, because they were the highest bidders.
Okay, I was gonna ask. It was about the money.
Yeah, they were the highest bidder. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Do you mind me asking what the offer is?
I'm not gonna tell you exactly, but I'll tell you the range. Between 125 and 130.
125 and 130, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Between that range.
Yeah, that's kind of. That makes sense. I was kind of taking a look, just in reviewing the text conversation that we had. Did I catch you at a good time? I'm sorry?
I said, did we text on this phone?
No, I'm calling you off my direct line here. I was texting off my work line. But yeah, you had mentioned that it's kind of an older place. It's probably going to need a little bit of work. Are you able to kind of give me a little bit better understanding of what you think would probably need to be repaired in order to bring it all the way up to speed? Is it going to need a new roof? Is it going to need, the kitchen need to be redone?
It's frankly old. It's like when I bought it, that's how the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure it probably need a new roof. And you're probably want to do it up to your liking.
Yeah.
It's an older home.
Right.
And they got tenants in there right now, so I don't know what else to tell you because I'm not there.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. I'm just trying to see if I can even come up to that 125, 130. I was looking at it, in all honesty, at that probably around that range, around the 120 mark. But that was if it was only going to need kind of cosmetic repairs, just carpet paint type stuff. So I'll be honest with you, and I try to be as honest as possible with everybody so I don't waste anybody's time. I don't think that I'd be upwards of 125 to 130, just knowing that it needs a roof. I would probably be closer to the $100,000 mark. But again, if you don't mind, I'd love to just kind of stay in touch with you. Not to speak on the people that you're moving forward with, because I obviously have no idea who they are. But I do know just from experience that sometimes people make promises that they can't deliver on. So I'd love to just be a backup option for you. Just stay in contact with you and be there if something does pop up, or if there's any reason you're unable to close at that price.
Oh, okay. But, I mean, that's no problem. Even the ones that are back up, that, like I explained to them, if it falls through for whatever reason, they're higher than you.
Okay. So they're over 100.
But you're welcome to keep in contact if you like.
Yeah, I'd love to. Even if it's just a quick text, like it won't come. Oh, I guess I can lock you in on my direct line here, so it'll come from this number. I might just shoot you a quick text every so often, asking, have you officially put anything under contract, or give me an idea of when the closing date may be set, just stuff like that. I'd love to just again make sure that you're well taken care of, and I hate to say it, but also not taken advantage of. Because again, people out here are acting unethically nowadays. So just want to make sure that you're being taken care of.
Okay, well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you taking the call.
What's the name of your company?
To be honest, it's just a little small, organization here. It's family operated, just me and a few partners. We do a couple projects every month, so we're just looking to pick up one before the end of the year, just so that we can keep busy and go into 2022 with a little bit of momentum.
Oh, okay. All right, well, you're welcome to keep up in touch with me, and we'll go from there.
All right, I appreciate you taking the call, and feel free to save this number. This again is my direct line. My name is Derek, and if anything happens before I end up reaching out, please feel free to reach back out to me.
Okay, that sounds like a plan.
All right, have a good one now.
You too.
I know. So that's pretty much exactly what I have been talking about. I'm not going to be, 125, 130. It doesn't make sense to me. I can maybe revisit the comps. That's what I think I'll do on this one is I'm going to leave a note for myself. Connected with seller. She mentioned that she plans to move forward with an offer of a range of 125 to 130. I would imagine that the offer is 125. That's not much of a range. Maybe it's like 128 or something. I don't know. That was really odd to me. But I understood that, you're not going to, a lot of times they're not going to want to tell you exactly what it is. And then she said the backup offers that she has had come in are over 100, or she didn't say that on the phone, but she told me that in text, saying that a couple of people have offered over 100,000. After revisiting it, that makes sense. Just having the ARV be 180,000. If you get a good buyer that maybe isn't a wholesaler and is going, directly on a contract, it would be probably like 110, 115 is probably what you can do. But I would, for an assignment fee, I would need it closer to 100,000. So connected with sellers, she mentioned that she plans to move forward with an offer in the range of 125, 130K. Derek asked if it was appropriate to follow up to be sure that she was being taken care of. She had no problem, but mentioned that her other offers were higher than Derek's 100K offer. I speak in third person like that. That's out of habit. I did that at my old job. That's what they asked us to do. So that when somebody else went and read the notes, it wasn't like me, if that makes sense. So if anybody else were to come revisit these notes, it would read like I've been reading it out loud. Derek did this, it's not really relevant. Like I said, it's just out of habit. It's not really relevant because I'm the only one in here doing this type of stuff, but I do see the benefit in that weekly follow-up. So I'm actually going to add a new task saying rerun comps, see if ARV can be pushed up any higher than 180K. Run those comps honestly tonight, because if it is, I'm going to want to call her back tomorrow and say, hey, you know what? I reran the numbers and it looks like I could probably do something. And I honestly think that was a really good conversation. We hit it off, and if she's just going with that because they had the highest offer, if I can give them the same offer, but like kind of out relationship that other person and have her work with me just because she likes me better, that's what it's going to come down to, right? Hey, I can make the same offer that person's offering and then talk myself up. This is what I'm going to be able to do for you, and just speak with confidence. Then she may just go with me just due to the fact that she likes me more. And then I'm going to push this follow up. Has she gone under contract with the other investor? If so, ask for estimated closing date, tentative closing dates. If not, ask her why she hasn't agreed yet. I'm going to do that. I'm going to follow up with her in a week if I haven't heard back. Good, quick little call, though. I mean, I like those type of conversations. I obviously like the conversations better when they result in contracts, but those conversations that have really high vibes, I know that they're not for nothing. I get really good practice on the phones. I get in the habit of remaining in contact with people, even though she's going under making another agreement. It brings me to the point where I want to be, in that I'm here to help people. I'm not just here to make a quick buck off of everybody. And I think that was communicated in that conversation. Robert says probably not. Don't know what he's saying probably not to. Let's find out. So I asked if he's thought about selling one property. He said that one's sold, maybe this one. I said, okay, I'll take a look. What can you tell me about it? Any major or minor repairs needed? He says probably not. I don't really know what that means. I can refine that question a little bit so that I'm not asking like 3 different questions at the same time, because he didn't really answer any of them. I'm getting ready to take him out right now after I finish these last couple follow-ups. Oh yeah, it's brand new. I just pulled the property up on Zillow. It was last listed for rent in April 2020, and so it has a picture up there, and it's pretty much brand new. So I don't see why he would want to sell at a discount. I'll ask, but he's probably not motivated. So I'm just gonna get straight to it. He says probably not. I would imagine he means there's probably not any repairs that are needed, and I pretty much verified that by pulling it up on Zillow, and I'll say not. Say probably not. Okay. Did you have you have a number in mind that you'd be hoping to walk away with? I typically wouldn't dive right into the price, but I don't really want to, I guess, waste my time with this guy because, again, the place is brand new. So he doesn't check off the condition pillar because there's no, or rather, there's no motivation, no motivating factor behind the condition because it's brand new. So now it's just timeline, price, and motivation. I really don't think he's motivated. Motivation is standalone, but for the most part, especially on like a driving for dollars list, motivation and condition kind of go hand in hand. But since this place is so brand new, he would have to have a pretty unique situation for him to have the level of motivation that I would need him to have in order to have him sell at the price that I need him to sell it at. So in this case, I just skipped right to it. Hey, look, I didn't say this, but pretty much I see the picture. It doesn't need any repairs. Did you have a number in mind so that, again, I don't waste my time. I don't waste his time getting on the phone with him, trying to dig deep just to get to the end of the conversation and him be like, yeah, I want retail. Like the place is brand new. What do you mean? So maybe we can just get that out of the way right now by me asking if he has a number in mind. And then I wanted to make sure that I was not going to call that woman on my dialer that I just spoke with. See if she's even in there. She's not. So followed up with everybody through my texting platform. I want to run some comps later for that woman. Oh, wait. No, I got one more person I want to call. Oh, no, this was a Spanish speaker. I referred out. Who was in here? Was it Jared? You were telling me your girlfriend's Spanish speaking. If you're still in here, let me know. I think you had just emailed. Oh yeah, you emailed me. This is something that I wanted to bring up with you, Jared. I think it was you who asked about the contract, and I'm willing to send it over. I just want to make sure that I'm giving you the right one. When you were on the live stream and you were asking, I thought that you were asking about the purchase and sale agreement that you're going to use to go direct to seller. But when you emailed me, the word assignment was in there. So, okay, you're in here. Which contract? I mean, I can send you both. It's really no big deal. I just want to make sure that I send you the right one. Purchase and sale and assign. I might as well just send you both now that I'm talking out loud. I can do that. Might have to start selling these janks though. And then I'm gonna reply. When I go to send you these contracts. Yeah, I got you. Both will be good. When I send you these, I'm going to I'm gonna include I'm gonna include the information for these Spanish speaking leads. If your girl can call these people, great. But please, no, this isn't me like requesting that you do this, and no obligation involved in this at all. I'm just gonna include them if you want to give them a ring. This guy specifically, the one that I just pulled up, I was using Google Translate to text him back and forth. He has two properties that sits on the same lot as well as a vacant lot right next door. He says he wants to sell. He asked me if I spoke Spanish. I said, I don't, but I can translate like this. He says it's two properties. Are you ready to buy? I said, yeah, I'm ready to buy. Are you selling both those properties? He said, yeah, both of them on the same lot. It's, he gave me both the addresses. And I said, okay, perfect. What type of repairs, yada yada yada. And he says he's hardly done anything to it. And I said, okay, did you have a price in mind? He said, do you need to come see it? And I said, nope. I'm really confident in my numbers as long as there's no termite damage, mold damage, anything like that. And then he didn't reply. And then I asked again, did you have a number in mind? And then he didn't reply. Texted him a couple days later. Did you have a number in mind? He didn't reply. So I already referred this out to somebody else who's a Spanish speaker, but she hasn't given me any updates one way or another. I would just appreciate if just let me know. Let me know. That's all I'm asking from her. I just don't want to be a hassle in following up with her. But both of you bet she can either later today or tomorrow. Type what he said on the email. Yeah. All right. Perfect. Yeah. No rush. No, like I said, don't feel obligated to like squeeze this into your already busy schedule or her already busy schedule. I get it. It's just, I have opportunities here for Spanish speakers, so I'd love to maximize on the opportunities. But by all means, take your time on it. Let me know, Addie, too. Yeah, I got you. I'll send you over all the details. Yeah. So that was somebody. My follow up was just to simply round back with the woman who I referred it out to. But just let me know one way or another. Like, she hasn't done it yet. She called with no success. She called, spoke with him. He's not interested. She called, spoke with him. He's interested. You know what I mean? So I'm going to change this to, well, I guess I'll just add a new task. First Jared through email. Include all details. I'll shoot you this email later tonight when I get home. If I remember. And then I'm going to push this one out a week. Make an offer that isn't ridiculous. I want as much as I can get. Talking to Lifestyle Unlimited about possibly listing. Never heard of them. Lifestyle Unlimited. Houston. Real estate education and mentoring. The education and mentoring group for real estate investors. Interesting. All right, boom. Let's go back over that conversation. I don't remember who this gentleman is who just said that. Roberts. Oh, okay. I just asked for a price. Yeah, I mean, I can quickly comp it and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna quickly comp it so that when I shoot him the text that I'm getting ready to shoot him, it's not as insulting. Because I'm gonna say something along the lines of, you know what? I just pulled it up. I can see the picture of the kitchen that you had up there for when it looks like it was rented out recently. It looks to be in great condition, and to be honest, we're looking for something that we can either build in a little bit of equity ourselves through doing the repairs ourselves, or something that we can get at a good enough price where we can enter into ownership of the property with equity already. So I just wouldn't want to insult you with an offer, but for the sake of throwing one out there, I would be most comfortable at a range between this and this. So it's good to know though that he bought this property for $55,000 2 years ago, but that was as is. So I wonder how much money he put into it. I would imagine probably like anywhere between 30 to 50,000. So he may be all in at like 100,000. The estimated value right now is 147. So I may be able to offer him something where he still comes out on top, but in all likelihood, he's going to make way more money by listing it on market. And that's something that I'll kind of reference in my response as well. But let me just comp it real quick to get an idea of whether or not I will be able to get anywhere close. Good amount of activity in the area. This one sold 179, extra bathroom, but 100 square feet less. So I'm gonna let those offset. Yeah, 2,600 extra square feet and 3 years newer. This one sold for 179 back in March. I'd say maybe ours sells for around that same thing, but I'd like to get a little bit more comps, better comps. This one, extra bed and extra bath, sold for 183 back in the end of May. Call ours 163. Same square footage, about 1,200 square feet smaller lot, same year built. So, 10, 20, 163. Maybe call ours like 170. Yeah, like 175 maybe. 10,169. 179. Maybe call ours like 175. Let me look at some others. This one sold 170 back in April. Extra bed and extra bath. Ours would sell for like 150. 150 less square feet though, so ours may go for 165. And close to 2,000 smaller square foot lot, but 2 years newer. So I'm gonna say ARV using this comp is 10, 20, 10, 20, 20, 5. Say like 170, 170. 20, 170, 150, 165. Like, yeah, 170, 175. I think 175 is appropriate to call ARV. In which case, I would be able to offer like probably like 115. He may be on board with that. But this is for sure a buy and hold. So I may even just go like 175 times 0.8 and have that be like fees, commission. There is no commissions, just the closing cost fees, and then having the buyer enter in with some equity, and then subtracting any repairs in my assignment fee. I don't think there really is any repairs. I'm still going to account for 10,000 in repairs though, just in case that there's needs to be some type of repairs done if you want to turn over the place and get new tenants in there. So I'm going to take off 25,000 for the repairs and my assignment fee, which puts us at like 115 MAO. And I may even be able to go beyond that, but just to keep it at 115 or keep it conservative, I think that's appropriate. Yeah. A little lower. So I'll shoot him a quick text. He said, make an offer that isn't ridiculous. I want as much as I can get. Talking to Lifestyle Unlimited about possibly listing. I'm going to say, understandable. To be honest, or understandable. I can see the picture online and it looks to be in great condition. To be honest, if it's just about the money, you're probably better off listing it on market. If you're looking for a simpler, more convenient type of deal, then we may be a good fit. Understandable. I can see the picture online and it looks to be in great condition. To be honest, if it's just about the money, you're probably better off listing it on market. But if you're looking for a simpler, more convenient type of deal, then maybe a good fit. What was I going to say? Maybe a good fit. God, I had something in mind that I wanted to type out before I just made the offer. Maybe a good fit. Oh, yeah. Typically, we're looking for I'm not even going to say that. But if you're looking for a simpler, more convenient type of deal, then it may be a good fit. We'd be able to pay cash and possibly get you paid before the end of the year. We'd be able to pay cash, possibly get you paid before the end of the year. We'd be anywhere between, I said 115 is going to be my max. So I'm going to say like 90 and 105, 90K to 105K to see how he responds. So understandable. I see the pictures online. It looks to be in great condition. To be honest, if it's just about the money, you're probably better off listing it on market. But if you're looking for a simpler, more convenient type of deal, then we may be a good fit. We'd be able to pay cash and possibly get you paid before the end of the year. And we'd be anywhere between 90 to 105K. I'm going to send that off and see how he responds. If he doesn't respond in like the next minute or two, I'm just going to text him, double text him and say like, do you think he may be interested in an offer in that range? I might as well just double text him right now because I didn't ask a question, so he doesn't really even need to reply. Would you be interested in would you entertain an offer in that ballpark? Okay, this gentleman texted me back, Truck or Truk. I said, hey, just wanted to run back. Did you and yours have a nice Thanksgiving? Hope you and yours also have a great Thanksgiving. Are you available tomorrow? We can get on a quick call. Yeah, I'm available. What time are you free? Just feeding the funnel here, building the pipeline. Trying to at least. All right. Nothing crazy happening right now. Now that a couple of these people have replied to my follow-ups, I'm just going to try to set a follow-up for this gentleman. If you don't recall, I was just talking about him. He's the one that we were kind of going back and forth, a little combative, trying to justify. I was trying to justify my offer price. He was trying to justify his asking price. And the fact that he's wanting to get on a phone call with me is pretty reassuring because he was asking 335, and I said I would need to be somewhere in the ballpark of 245 and 270, and the conversation ended well, although it was a little bit combative. And, I was like, you know what? I completely understand where you're coming from, but unfortunately, I just have to stick to the numbers. It's very factual for me, and I have to take the emotion out of it. I wish I could offer you what you want, but I can't. And it's almost like he appreciated that. And he was like, understood, no hard feelings at all. And I said, all right, just so you know, again, this is what I'm able to do for you. Pay cash, get you paid before the end of the year. What's the best price you think you can do? And he said, let me think about it. I said, all right. And now I just rounded back. Hey, did you have a good Thanksgiving? He said, yeah, hope you and yours had a great Thanksgiving as well. Can we get on a call? Anytime except, hey, I'm available. He said, can you get on a call tomorrow? I said, yeah, I'm available. What time are you free? He said, anytime except 2 to 3 p.m. I'm going to say, I want to leave enough time for us to talk. And I'm just going to say, okay, how about 12:30? And I'm going to come in here, set a follow-up. I imagine he's going to agree to that. So I'm going to set myself a task to call him at 12:30, and I'm going to set the reminder for noon so that I'm prepared and don't let it, get past due. I don't want to miss the window that I told him I'm going to call. Again, going back to what I was saying, I'm trying to make a habit of calling exactly to the minute when me and these leads agreed to talk. I'm going to say follow up, call at 12:30 p.m. as scheduled. Stick to your numbers and see if he is willing to drop in price. I just had a few texts come back in. So Mary says 280,000 as is to the number in mind that she had for this property. Let's see if that's reasonable. So 280,000. His estimate is 282. So maybe I would probably need her to come down a little bit, and I would need the ARV to be much higher. So I'll take a look at that. Robert says laughable at my offer. I offered him, what did I say, 90 to 105, I think I offered him. Would you entertain an offer in that ballpark? Laughable. I am getting 11% on my money invested. That is below HCAD assessment, and it's been rehabbed. And see, that's why I try to like lead into my offer with everything that I said. I mean, I told him that. I told him I can see that it's in great condition and you're better off listing it on market, but for the sake of making an offer, here's my offer. Would you entertain an offer in that ballpark? He could have just simply said no, but laughable. I'm getting 11% on my money invested, which is pretty good. I mean, it's not the best when it comes to real estate returns, but it's better than leaving your money in the savings account. And he's only owned the property for a year and a half. So what's he expecting? I'm getting 11% on my money invested. That is below HCAD assessment, and it's been rehabbed. I'm gonna say, say gotcha. For a cash offer. That's why I ask, like, what are you looking for? People are so silly. I don't know. I'm getting my feelings about this guy, but like, I played this exactly the way I wanted to play it. I asked him, what's the number you want? And he says, make an offer. So I made an offer, and then he gets insulted by my offer. Like, what are we doing then? Tell me your number then so that I know, gotcha. I'm gonna say for a cash offer, what's the best price you think you can do? I'm not just gonna like increase my offer. Like, tell me if that doesn't work, what does? Mary again said 280,000 as is. Let me quickly comp this one. I'm always saying quickly comp it. I can comp it pretty quick though. I'd be able to comp a lot quicker if my computer wasn't so fucking slow. I'll tell you that much. Mary has 17 properties. Wow. Which is why she's asking retail. Estimated value on PropStream is 357. God damn. Let's take a look. Locked in for 12:30 noon tomorrow. Taking a look at these properties. All right, I got 6 properties that sold within the last year. All of them are pretty much in the same subdivision. It looks like very close, all within 0.2 of a mile of each other. This one sold for the highest sold was back in September for 350,000. That one has an extra bed or bathroom. Caller's 340. It has 24 extra square feet. I'm not going to make any alterations to the price for that. It has about 800 square feet bigger on the lot. Not going to make anything in regards to that. And ours is 6 years newer. So this one sold for 350. I think ours could go for 340, maybe even 350. Being that it's been 3 months, the market has shown appreciation, and ours is 6 years newer. I'm just gonna go ahead and I'll call it 340 just to be safe. In which case, I would need to be at around depending on level of rehab, anywhere from 185 to 245. One 190 to 250. What did she say now? What was she asking for? 280? Yeah, that's not gonna happen. 280 as is. It's not gonna work at that price. Even if it was 350 ARV. Let's rework the formula a little bit and have the buyer taking a little less profit, I guess. Let's say they only want like 25,000 on a flip like this. I would still need to be anywhere from like 197 to 257 for cosmetic rehab. So, I mean, yeah, she's not motivated. This woman owns 17 properties. She's just trying to look for top dollar for a property. And when somebody comes along, she's the type of woman who's going to reply to you. She's going to entertain an offer, but she's not going to sell it until it's exactly what she wants or whatever the case may be. But I'll say 288K as is. I'll say, okay. Type of repairs would be needed. Needed, if any. So let's see how motivated again she truly is. If she's going to take the time to tell me about the repairs, I'll make an offer, and kind of in response to what she's saying. So she's going to say something like, "Well, it doesn't really need any repairs, but it could probably use this." I'll say, "Okay, just the fact that it needs that, I ran the numbers. I would need to be somewhere between this and this. I can pay cash, list the benefits, yada yada, just for the sake of making an offer." That's also something that I'm trying to get in the habit of doing is still throwing out a number, regardless of if it's not attractive to these people right now. Doesn't mean it won't be attractive in 30, 60 days, 90 days from now, where they're like, dang, okay, what did he offer again? Let me go find that text. Let me go round back with that person. Locked in with truck or Truk. And then waiting on a reply from Robert, as well as a couple other people. So I'm gonna end it right here, though. I gotta run and take my dog out, and I more than likely will not be hopping on the dialer today, just because I've spent a lot of time doing this. Had a lot of good conversations though through text. One decent phone call on the phone. She wasn't gonna go with my offer, but I liked the way that we talked. High vibes. Let's see what type of follow-ups I have for myself through my dialer. So I do have a good amount of people I can call. Just pulling them up real quick to see if it's anybody. I mean, yeah, these are all just pretty generic type of follow-ups. Like, yeah, call me at the end of the year. Maybe not till next year. These are just your pretty generic follow-ups here. So not to say that it's not, poor of me to let these pass, but I'm gonna have to just wait until tomorrow because I don't have the time today. I'm gonna push this one out next week though, so I'll have a good amount of people to call. Follow-up day is gonna be tomorrow for me. Let's see how many I'm gonna have to get through tomorrow. I'll have 7, 8 people to call tomorrow, follow up. So I'm gonna focus on follow up tomorrow as well as getting a little bit more text out. So gonna end it here. Appreciate all you guys who joined. Jared, Roxy, it's good to have you hop back in here. Appreciate you continuing to jump in and show the support. I will always love dogs. And Jared, your support is always appreciated, and glad that you guys are constantly hopping back in here. I hope that you're able to take something away from watching me work. I know that that's essentially what it is just watching me or listening to me narrate my work. So hopefully you're able to take something away. If you haven't already and you enjoyed the video or any of my other videos, do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. On the track for 50 subscribers. That's my goal by the end of the year, and we're definitely on pace to do that. Just going to remain consistent and keep cranking out these live videos, and I want to definitely pre-record some videos to release as well. So I'm making a plan to do that before the end of the year. Any comments, questions, concerns that you have, do me a favor, drop them in the comment section of this video or any other video you have questions, comments, concerns on. I get notified through email. Any comment is left, so I will see it and I will reply. And if you want to join in and don't want to miss out on the live sessions when I do go live, go ahead, hit the notification bell so that you get notified when I do go live. I try to go live at least once a day, Monday through Friday, documenting essentially me working, cold calls, texting, follow-ups, the whole 9. So when I watch lives, it feels like I'm practicing. Yeah, I feel that. And that's really what I wanted it to be, like kind of like you're just sitting right next to me, getting the reps in with me, like you're saying. So I'm glad that you're able to benefit from it, and glad that you're kind of getting that vibe from it as well. That was pretty much exactly what I intended for this to be. I did not intend for it to be like, hey, I know what I'm talking about. I'm a pro. You don't know anything. I didn't want it to be. It really wasn't intended to be educational at all. It was more so wanting to give you just kind of an over-the-shoulder view, over-the-shoulder look at my day-to-day operation. Unfortunately, I'm unable to share my screen because my computer's so shitty, but that is also a goal of mine. Raw footage, exactly. It's just me. You guys are staring at my ugly grin the whole time, but that's also a goal of mine. With it, probably after I close the next deal, I really want to build out a PC setup so that I can have the processing power to be able to run some streams, like a streaming software, so that you guys can not only stare at my ugly face, but um, look at what I'm doing on my computer, and we can get creative with it, do some different things with the actual streaming software. So that's a goal of mine as well, short-term goal that I want to implement immediately. I know that it'll take this content to the next level, so stay tuned. That's on the way. Thanks for the cold call videos. It helps me with my calls. Absolutely, Roxy. Appreciate you tapping in. I really do. I'm very grateful for you guys. The fact that I have people tapping in and joining the live sessions already, I truly did imagine that it was going to take like a year at least to be able to get people hopping in like you guys are hopping in. It's happened a lot quicker than I thought. So, respect to you guys, and I give you guys all the credit there because it's you guys who are joining in. So appreciate you. Go ahead, share it with anybody that you feel may benefit from it. Have few people in here that are like partners, and Lala and her partner. That's what I'm thinking of specifically. They'll hop in, and Lala shared it with her partner. She was getting value from it. So if you think that anybody else would benefit from this, take value from any one of my videos, please do share it. It would mean the world to me, and I would greatly appreciate that. But until the next time, until tomorrow, probably planning on going live same time around midday, a little earlier. I'll be calling truck or troop back around 12:30, as well as hitting those 7 to 8 follow-ups and sending off a couple hundred more texts, and maybe being able to squeeze in some cold calls as well. So I appreciate you guys jumping in here again. I will always love dogs. Same here, bro. Helps me a lot. I'm really glad to hear it. I really am glad to hear that. That's awesome. Well, now that you guys have patted me on the back enough, I will see you tomorrow morning. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Peace.